Now that we have our base pose, it's time for us to push this pose, to make it more dynamic and appealing. We have learned before the fundamentals by identifying the line of action and studying the basics of creating a nice silhouette. Now it's time to apply those fundamentals and exaggerate them. The first thing I'm going to do is duplicate our current keyframes onto frame2. This way we can compare both poses by hitting the up and down arrows. The first thing we can do is to push the directionality of the line of action. While on our basic pose our line of action creates a nice curve, I will straighten the line of action to give it more directionality. The first thing to do is to lower the center of gravity of our character and push it to the side on the supporting leg. Then we need to increase the contrast between the right leg and the left leg, meaning that I will try to make the right leg as straight as possible. Test with the different controller. In this case I will slightly move the pole target, and I will also use the tweaker controller to align the knee with the ankle and the hips. Then I will slightly open the stance of our character, pushing the left foot a bit backward so that he's not out of balance, and indirectly contrasting the open stance of our character. As usual, this is not a linear workflow, so I may make the character leaning forward too much, then leaning backward, then trying different poses that looks more dynamical. In the end, I've chosen to rotate the center of gravity more forward so that it reduces a bit the profile of the torso and makes it more aligned with the line of action. Then we need to tweak the position of the hips, of the torso, of the head also, tilting it a bit forward, more into the pose, and then we can start shaping the arms. As for the line of action, where I have a smooth curve, I've decided to increase the tension in the arms, making the right arm straight and supporting the line with the left arm by opening it a bit. But I was really hesitating and still hesitating to pose it more into an angled way. I think this pose works too and is also very strong. I've straightened what was straight and I've created an harder angle where it was angled. But I feel like there is more readability in the hand of my initial pose, so we will stick to it. So I will raise the shoulders, I will open the hand, I will slightly rotate it toward the sky and make sure that the palm is more open more to the side. To keep the directionality when we open the forearm, we need to raise the arm and raise the shoulder. I will do the same with the left arm. I will make sure that it's in the continuity of the current line of action, and I will slightly open the hand so that we can clearly see the fingers on the silhouette of the character, which wasn't the case previously. While it might not look supernatural, I like to curl the fingers forward. It brings a lot of tension as if our character was pushing the air. During the whole process, I will repeat the same steps again and again, because it's very hard to push a controller to its maximum without comparing it to the other one, because the pose is to be read as a whole. It's a relationship between the legs, the torso, the arms, etc. So whenever you're pushing the torso, then you are rebalancing your character by moving the feet, and it changes the pose. But then maybe you want to push this pose even further. What I'm trying to explain here is that you may need to repeat the process several times before you hit the right pose, or you hit the most extreme pose or exaggerated pose that still feels right. As explained before in the previous videos, we are sculpting the pose. And when you are sculpting, you don't sculpt the details of one hand or of the face without blocking the whole body of your character. You generally start blocking and then you refine each part one by one, and you refine them depending on the other one. You refine the proportion of the heads based on the chest or the proportion of the legs based on the arm, etc. And don't fool yourself. Animation as an art form is really comparable to drawing or sculpting, because we are shaping our whole character, working on the relationship between the shoulder, the arms, the forearms, the hands, the chest, the hips, etc. So if you have fundamentals into sculpting or drawing, make sure you also apply them whenever you are posing your character for animation. And if you don't have any fundamentals in sculpting or drawing, don't be afraid to study drawing and sculpting techniques. I'm not meaning that you need to draw every day or sculpt every day, but at least read some book about figure drawing, because you will see that a lot of the vocabulary we are using in this course, or a lot of the fundamentals we are using in this course, are applied in drawing and sculpting also. So let's jump into the next video and work on more poses.